Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 847, we're going to talk about Gilanra and Brinelin. We're going to cover Gilanra first because this is... what Gilanra does is help us cast Brinelin, right? So let's stop this autofocus stuff right here off the bat. Okay, so Gilandra's tap to add a green, and when you spend this spell to cast a mana value 6 spell, draw a card. And then Brinelin, we are playing blue and green with these partners. When Brinelin enters the battlefield, or when you cast a spell, CMC 6 or greater, you can bounce a non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So this is what it is. It is big cost tribal, 6 CMC, whatever you want to call it. But in order to cast those spells, we have to first have mana to do so. So there is an inordinate amount of ramp in this deck because what's not ramp is expensive. So let's get to it. We have, in no particular order here, Soul Ring, Simic Locket, Thought Vessel. That helps. I have had the privilege of playing this deck once before recording it just now, and it plays pretty decent. CSA's Ring, Simic Cluestone, Prismatic Talisman, Simic Signet, Sky Diamond, Moss Diamond, Commander Sphere, and then definitely the 2 monuments because it makes your creatures cost less, and even when your creature is not like Ronus' monument here, even when you cast a blue creature, yeah, it's not cheaper, but you still get the +2/+2 in trample, right? Same way with the Kefnets. When you cast a green creature, you'll still get that second ability. And then the big rocks, Coveted Jewel and Dreamstone Heater. That Coveted Jewel almost has no drawback because when you cast another spell, you can bounce that back to your hand so your opponents don't get it. So, and of course, the Dreamstone Hedron's a good one. Then we have our spell ramp. Rampant Growth, Farseek, Cultivate, Search for Tomorrow, Circuitous Route, Explosive Vegetation, and then the big boy, Reshape the Earth. Important to, reading the card explains the card here. I played this and I went and got 10 basic lands. They don't have to be basic. Yeah. They could just 10 lands. So, yeah, that was a thing that I did that I wish I hadn't. Anyway, card draw. We have Russian Knowledge. I figure since we're playing with big cost stuff, we might as well, get our card value for our mana here. Harmonize. Greater Good's great with big creatures. Sandstone Oracle, another great one that you can bounce back to your hand for your benefit to when casting it. Urban Evolution. And I've got Zendikar Resurgent with the card draw instead of the mana ramp, because as you can see, we don't really need the mana ramp that much. We need the card draw. But big spells. There are a few that aren't CMC 6 in here, but these are all creatures. So we'll start with the Cultivator Colossus. This one did some work. I actually bounced this a few times during the game just to get that recast trigger to pull off the 3 or 4 land drop chain. It was kind of nice. Thorn Elemental's just a favorite of mine from way back. Urza Block. Archetype of Imagination. This thing drew fire when it came out, because when you've got really big creatures, everybody's like, but when they fly and nobody can block them, that's a problem, apparently. Elvish Aberration. It's an elf that doesn't make most elf decks. I don't know that it's made any of my elf decks, but it is 6 CMC. It's a 4/5. Yeah, if I just want to tap it for 3 green, I can. I don't know. It didn't have a home. Nyx Bloom Ancient. Triple mana is fun. I like triple mana. I've got Tatiova because, well, this is good and it's the colors. Ulamog's Crusher. I've got the cheaper Eldrazi in here. If I had the Eldrazi Titans, they totally would be. Garrick's Horde. Now, this is not bad for a 7/7 trample. You can cast a top card if it's a creature card, and there's a lot of those. Scholar of the Ages. I use Scholar of the Ages to get back... I can't remember what I got back with it. But anyway, it's one of those cards that doesn't see play in a lot of decks, but at that specific mana cost, it appealed to me, and what it does, 2 instants or sorceries. Simic Sky Swallower is always fun to see how the table deals with it. Normally it's a board wipe. But Artisan of Kozilek, getting another big creature back. The Archetype of Endurance. Yes, creatures have hexproof. That's a beautiful thing right there. We have Sylvos, just because I like the card. 8/5. Trample for 6 is not bad. Sphinx of Uthlung. Endrace Forerunners. Another good one to bounce, because you only get that mini overrun there when the boar comes into play. And it has haste, so... but the ability to recast it on successive turns and getting that +2 Vigilance Trample, that's really... Kodama the Eastery. Verdant Force. Just making a blocker army. Emoti. Now, Emoti's only 5, but spells you control, or spells you cast with CMC 6 or greater, have Cascade. I'll take buy one, get one. All day long. Nezahal. Tromocratis. I like the Caller of the Pact. And Terastodon. I know Terastodon is normally in the removal, but I put it here. Then we have big spells. The only one that's not big is Overrun, and it's because we're playing creature heavy deck, right? I mean, I figured we would need, that punch through. But Confiscate and Yavimaya Embrace are removal spells. You just steal the creature. Yavimaya Embrace being, +2 and trample. That's insult to injury right there. Mythic Proportions, just +8/+8 and trample. Seasons Past. That. How many times have you cast Seasons Past where you're actually able... I got my entire graveyard. I got the whole graveyard. It was beautiful. And then Spitting Image. Now, I like Spitting Image because there is a point where you don't really... It doesn't matter if you drop another land, It's not a landfall deck, so you're going to have lands in your hand, or at least I did. And the Retrace ability, because it doesn't exile itself, you just keep casting Spitting Image. And to keep getting copies of target creature. It's not you control, target creature, period. The dream scenario is, of course, the Nyx Bloom Ancient, but your table probably won't let that happen very much. But removal, I cast Mirror Match in that game for the very first time. It was effective. I don't put it in a lot of decks, but I was just make copies and block them all. Return to Nature, Negate, and Whelming Wave, of course. But then, to Meteor Golem. This is another great one to copy with your Spitting Image, right? Rain of Thorns. Doesn't see a lot of love. Artifact, Enchantment, Land. We're going to pick all 3. And then Desert Twister, just a good old-fashioned destroy target thing. You don't get a lot of that anymore. Now we are to our non-basic lands. So the idea is you play Brinelin, is to get Brinelin out as soon as possible, and then start doing the sick bounce, whether it's we're bouncing our stuff for benefit or bouncing their stuff for our benefit. Either way. But that brings us to our non-basic lands. Of course, we're going to have the Rogue's Passage with a deck full of big beaters. It's not bad. Myriad Landscape. Path of Ancestry. A few of those creatures matter. Command Tower, Transguild Promenade, Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse, and then our blue-green duels, the Simic Growth Chamber, Thornwood Falls, Lumbering Falls, Simic Guildgate, and Woodland Stream. Like I said, I had a blast playing it. Of course, as usual, the deck is over on Architect at the link down below. But had a blast playing it. It was definitely a force to be reckoned with at the table. I think it came down to me and Grand Arbiter. Yeah. And then the Grand Arbiter went nuclear with a couple of Planeswalkers, so I didn't want us long there. Anyway, 847 on the wall. I do appreciate y'all watching, and for all you new folks that have recently tuned in, I appreciate y'all. Be sure to subscribe down below. I don't say that enough, but yeah, that's a thing that we should probably do, or that I should do. Anyway, I appreciate it. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.